we're back. I just peed. Alright, so far so good. I guess it's fun seeing the cheap smoke stats up during this. This is awesome. Jim Tinger, you're a king amongst men. Larry Beemer, he was our first full time designated hitter. He's now a professor. Hello,
Kevin?
Larry Beemer.
How's it going, sir?
Good. How are you doing?
Pandemic.
Yeah. How's that going? You're in New Hampshire.
Yeah, New Hampshire. Our,
Um.
our numbers are pretty good. Our idiot population is large. Uh, been stuck in the house for 2 months with a 13-year-old boy.
Whoa. Is that you and Christy have one kid, just one son?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, Jack.
And how are you guys not leaving at all? You having like groceries delivered, stuff like that?
No, we go out for
Hello? Oh.
made like a couple of trips to the hardware store to do some sort of emergency stuff, but I've been, masked up and gloved up while doing it.
Yeah. And where in New Hampshire are you guys?
Oh, we're on the seacoast, so Durham, which is the town that UNH is in.
Okay, yeah. And you've been there for a while, and you're teaching English at UNH?
Yep.
Nice. How long have you been there for?
God, 8 or 9 years, 7 years. I just finished my seventh year as a full-time lecturer.
Oh, wow. Shaping the minds. Hello? You got me?
Yeah, I'm still here. Are you? I'm sorry, I had to let the dog out. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it definitely beats a lot of other gigs.
Yeah, absolutely. I first met you, I think the first time we ever had a conversation was in 1993 at Creekside in Cobleskill.
That was a wretched hive of scum and villainy.
During a $10 all-you-can-drink day. I had just turned 19, I believe. Or no, I had just turned 18. And those posters of like Slow Gin Fizz and Tequila Sunrise, this is my first open bar, so I was just like going through my memory of that, like asking for one of each.
Just going for the tour.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. Like as an 18-year-old will at an open bar. And I think you and me talked about the Dead Kennedys for a while. I think you might have had the Too Drunk to Fuck shirt on, or a DK shirt of some sort. And I think you turned me on to the Mighty Mighty Boss Tones. I remember was what I got out of that conversation that day.
Well, 1993 would have been the exact right year to be into the Mighty Mighty Boss Tones.
Yeah, it's funny.
And, shortly after that, they became a lot less interesting, but they used to play in New Paltz all the time at the Pi Alpha New Party.
Oh, okay.
Out at the lake with like Murphy's Law and Functional Idiots and those guys.
Yeah. I feel like I got to New Paltz in '94, and I think that was right as those were kind of like phasing out. I think they did them the year that I was, they did them in '94, but by '95, like none of the bigger, the well-known bands were playing anymore. It was more like weird kind of stuff going on at those.
Yeah, well, I mean, punk rock before '94, like you could see like first class punk rock band for like $5-6.
Yeah, absolutely.
And once alternative broke, it sort of changed the scene. Like I remember seeing the Rollins band at Vassar for $5 in like 1990.
Wow. I was actually just thinking about that when I was thinking about what you and me were going to talk about, and it's like the time that we were. I think you were 1 year ahead of me at Cobleskill, which was a 2-year school, unless you were learning how to milk cows professionally, like scientifically.
Yeah, I described Cobleskill as penance for high school.
Yeah, pretty much. That's a very good explanation. But we went at a very. I think if you're going to be at that school, we went at the exact right time. Like,
Possibly.
could you imagine being there for like new metal, like when that shit was big?
No.
Like that would have been a disaster. Or now, like politically now, like what the dynamic must be like at that fucking place for like some kid that wasn't smart enough to get into an English program at a better school. Like
Right.
it must be fucking dark,
Yeah, seriously. I mean, that was, I just think that there was, yeah, it had a lot to do with the time. It was like 1991 is when I got there.
Yeah.
And it was, culture and music was going crazy. And there was, but I think that not only was it the time, but I think that there really was a mix of good people.
Yeah.
Like there was just a lot of different people coming from completely different walks of life who sort of, converged. And like all the old John Hughes rules of the Breakfast Club arrangements all broke down. So it was like, because it was such a small school, like freaks of every color were like sitting on the same couch.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, it was definitely an interesting place, and I felt that, like, because you live on a floor in Davis Hall or whatever with a bunch of dudes that were farmers from Midwest, middle of
Yeah.
fucking nowhere, Pennsylvania, but you eventually became friends with.
Yeah, well, nobody drank like the Ag kids.
So I tried to, but I didn't do a good job of it. That's for fucking sure.
Well, you picked up your skills later.
Mhm.
The Ag kids were always hardcore. They were,
Yeah.
I don't think I would have ever voted the same way as they did, but I'd definitely take drinking advice from them.
Absolutely. I mean, and those were the smart, those were kids that like, that was a really good school for what they were going for. They were going to the Yale of their fucking profession,
Yeah, no, absolutely. Like that's kind of one of the deals with college, right? I mean, there's always there's a group of people who that institution is really benefiting, and then there's a lot of people who are there to sort of subsidize the education of those kids.
Yeah, yeah.
So I'm happy to have subsidized a couple of those kids. I don't know where I would be without dairy.
I mean, there were pretty good English professors, like Nulacek. I remember Nulacek was fucking awesome.
Yeah.
A very strange hippie guy for a school like that.
Turk Bliss was cool.
Yeah, I just saw him comment on like one of your posts on Facebook fairly recently, and I was like, oh shit, that dude's a fucking dude. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
there was a lot. There was just so much crazy going on at all times. It was full tilt crazy.
yeah. It was. I mean, I spent 3 days in Harry County Correctional Facility for jokingly stealing a can of Pringles. So there was that.
Oh, shit. Well, there was always the rule of like, if you got nailed for something, they brought the hammer down.
Yeah.
I mean, my roommate and I tagged. We made a stencil that was the minor threat. Out of step sheep.
Okay.
And we stenciled it around campus, like in a couple of different locations. And
Nice.
people would stand in line.
Okay.
Like 3 skipping sheep. Like
Oh,
into the
that's
dining
great.
hall.
Yeah.
Or 3 skipping sheep, hopping into the registrar's office. And we got pinched for that. And they wanted to go for like willful destruction of state property. Like they weren't going for the juvenile charges.
Yeah. Wow. Huh. That was with us. I mean, there was this night in question, like I did a bunch of different things, like, there might have been some actual burglary committed, there was destruction of property. There was a lot of things wrong that I did this night.
Yeah.
But at the end of it, we got back to our dorm, and a friend of ours a friend from across the hall had his girlfriend visiting. So his roommate stayed upstairs, with another girl, but in a separate bed. Like they weren't banging, but her roommate was gone. So it's like, you can stay in this bed. We'll have like a platonic sleepover thing or whatever. Right. So we get back from Creekside in the middle of the night. The dude I was with had stolen a bunch of shit from fucking the DJ at Creekside. Like on our way to the bar, A bunch of dudes from a house on the main drag there had called his girlfriend a whore.
Yeah.
So we went back, and I was like, "Oh, let's throw like rock through their window on our way home." He was like, "No, be quiet." And we went to their house and stole their fucking VCR, and fucking we dropped it like 9 times on the way home, so it was unusable. But we basically
Right.
just broke into a house and stole a VCR. That's not what I. That's
That's
not.
pretty low rent, man.
Yeah, it's bad. But then we got back and we went up to fuck with the dude that was staying with the girl on the fourth floor, and we're just like razzing him, blah blah blah. Took a bunch of Pringles. The girl was really mad at us. She was from Long Island. She was like, not didn't I think have a great sense of humor. She called public safety to like fuck with us, to like, oh fuck you, you did this to me. This is what I'm gonna do to you. And me and my roommate, we show up at the fucking. They came at 9 p.m. on a Tuesday to get us, and they bring us in front of this judge that like literally looked fucking 160 years old. I've got like a Sacred Reich T-shirt on and long fucking hair. My roommate's from Staten Island. He looks like the fucking Fonz with his fucking leather jacket, and they're just like $5,000 bail, class C felony burglary for taking these Pringles. Like they didn't know about any of the other, like they didn't know about the VCR. Maybe that's a legitimate charge for that, but like,
Maybe
yeah,
a lot of times they when they pinch you knowing that they can't get you for other stuff.
yeah. Well, no, they had no idea. The other stuff we just wasn't caught. Like we got away with. I'm talking about it now because I feel like the statute of limitations is up, but the other stuff we just got.
I'm pretty sure that may like there's no assistant DA in Scary County.
Yeah.
Like he's gonna swat you later because of the great VCR heist of 1992.
That definitely scared me for the rest of my life, though. I spent 3 days there because I was afraid to call my mom, and my mom
Right.
like laughs about it now, and like I guess she would have then because we did literally get arrested for stealing Pringles, but.
Right.
I was like, terrified, 18 years old to call your parents and tell them you're in a fucking county jail,
Yeah, county jails are no joke.
Yeah, it was pretty peaceful where I was. It was not so good for a couple of the other. There were 4 of us all together. It was not so good for some of the other dudes.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I mean, we got put in me, my roommate, who was also about 18 at the time, got put in a 4-cell block. So
Right.
there's like 4 cells and a common area with a shower. So the cells, your cell doors automatically lock at like 7 in the morning. They open up, and 11 or whatever time, 10 p.m. they close, and you're just in your cell. But we were in there with a 17-year-old kid, so he was like pretty mellow. And then the bathroom was broken in the fourth cell. So there's only 3 of us: me, my roommate, and a 17-year-old kid.
Oh, well, I mean, if you're gonna do time,
Yeah.
that sounds like a pretty decent situation.
Okay, so the first night we meet this dude. It's pretty good. Like we hang out for a little while, and then we go to our cells. The lights never really go off, so that's weird to sleep with. And you're in jail, so the bed is not necessarily comfortable. And you hear people like they're like the ACDC jailbreak cell blocks down the line,
Right.
and people are like singing "Cop Killer" and shouting "Fuck the police." People are just shouting. It's like there's weird shit going on somewhere else that sounds dangerous.
Right.
So I eventually fall asleep, and I wake up, and I hear my roommate Jeff Olson from Staten Island, who looks like the Fonz, is like a little short dude with a leather jacket, and he's screaming, "Kevin, help! Kev, help! Please help!" And guards are dragging him out of his cell, and apparently, like some dude had gotten some white guy had gotten attacked in the like ACDC jailbreak area,
Right.
and needed to be removed for his own safety. So they were taking my roommate and putting him there, and then bringing that dude to to stay with us. And apparently they told my roommate that as they were before they took him out. They told him why they were taking him out because they're gonna fuck with him. That's what fucking I think prison guards or COs do. But
That's awful.
yeah, and I was just sitting there, 18 years old, sitting with at the hands at the bars, watching him being drugged out. And it was like kind of like the cat in the fucking Tom and Jerry cartoons, where they put their arms and legs against every fucking doorway to try to,
Right.
these dudes are just fucking whacking them. But then the next,
That helps. They
Yeah.
never win when there's like 5 of them.
yeah, He got out. He called his parents literally immediately and got out the next morning, so he was okay. But
Yeah, well, I mean, all they want is the bail money anyway.
yeah, exactly. You know, and
I mean, the county, like, they set five grand bail, but you only get what 2,500 back at your appearance.
yeah, something like that. My mom works for a lawyer, so she got the bail reduced to 1,000, and like so it still cost me a lot because when they charged me with the eventual charge was violation disorderly conduct,
Right.
and some of the other dudes were like fought that and got just dismissed completely. I was so afraid because of the 3 days in jail that I was just like, it was like a $344, disorderly conduct fine. In 1990, whatever, it was a lot. I don't know.
Yeah.
But it was like at this point, like I'm too afraid of literally going back to jail.
Well, we did when we got pinched for that stenciling thing. We like a kid down the hall got expelled, and we kind of made fun of him for it. And so he called the cops, hoping, like he called the RA, hoping that they would come into our room and find drug paraphernalia. But what they found was that stencil.
Oh shit! I got you.
And they found the stencil, and we were at a party at Balk Falls. Do you remember Balk Falls?
Kind of.
It was like this huge like rock amphitheater that had like a 70-foot drop into a swimming pool, basically.
Okay.
Right, and we used to haul kegs and liquor up there. Like, I mean, we'd bring like a pickup truck full of supplies and then go into this, like this area that was just too remote to get into any kind of truck.
Yeah.
And so we were there, and we were having a blast. And we finally get home, and like 5 minutes after we walk through the door, the phone rings, and they say that it's the state police, and could you come in? So our answer is like, fuck you!
Yeah.
And hang up the phone, because there's no way that this is what's going on.
Yeah, absolutely.
The phone rings immediately, and he goes, "This isn't a joke. Could you come in?" So we went through the whole process like lit. It was ungood.
I bet.
They didn't really appreciate that.
Yeah. And I imagine they were not very easy on you, because of that.
No. I mean, they could have been a lot worse. I mean, obviously they could have been a lot worse. I mean, I could have been of any other persuasion than I am, and I imagine I would have experienced a lot worse.
Well,
but it wasn't pleasant.
And that was the weird thing about the Cobleskill at that time is like, there were whatever 3 or 4 bars in town that I was, 17 when I first got there, that I was perfectly able to drink in. Like there was never any worry about that. But
no, most of the places had a deal with. I think most of the places had a deal with the cops. Like they would call in advance and let them know when the raids were happening.
Yeah.
And after the first couple of months, we were so locked into the house parties that we used to end the night at bars.
Yeah, there you go. Where did you live? What dorm were you in?
Oh, I was in one of the. I don't remember the name of it. It was one of those big cinder block ones at the edge of campus.
Okay.
And then I was in Draper. I was in the all male dorm.
Yeah, I got you.
One of the old ones in the.
Yeah, that was. Block. Yeah, I was in Davis. It was like the last one, way the fuck out, kind of by like, if you were gonna walk there like Price Chopper the hard way,
Yeah.
But I'd have to walk through. I'd have to walk through like that Draper or whatever the fucking other 3 were there.
That was those big cinder block ones. One of the things I remember about Cobleskill was really freaking annoying was the fire alarms.
Yes. Yep.
It was like every night someone would pull a fire alarm, and like it got cold there. I mean, you were there in '93, you said?
90. Well, no. Well, yes. I graduated high school in '92, so I started Cobleskill in '92 to '93, and then '93 to '94 would be my second year.
So that was that was that winter that it snowed like four
Yeah, the
feet one
second
night.
one. Yes, the second one was like fucking crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, like 4 feet one night,
Yes.
and like the whole universe shut down, and it was crazy.
Yeah. But you had left you were a year before me, no?
Yeah, I was there. I was there for 2 years. I was there from 91, 92,
Okay.
93.
And then you went to New Paltz.
Purchase. I got my. I finished my bachelor's degree at Purchase.
Okay. And then you went to New Paltz for graduate.
Yeah, for my master's.
Okay. All right.
So
It,
yeah, after Purchase, I lived in Brooklyn for a couple of years.
it's almost amazing that someone who went to Cobleskill for English, an English degree, became an English professor. I don't think
It,
that's
yeah, that probably doesn't happen all the time.
certainly. Yeah, I would guess not.
But like I said, Cobleskill was for me. Cobleskill was penance for high school. I was a smart ass fuck up, and like I got better at school with every degree.
Yeah.
Like it just that's the way it worked out for me.
Yeah.
Like as you move out of high school and what school was, and then I got to college, and it was like with each degree of sort of increased liberty to like sort of explore materials the way I wanted to.
Exactly. Yeah.
I got better at it.
And now you're teaching freshman comp. Are you teaching freshman comp?
I teach a fair. Well, yeah, I have taught a fair amount of freshman comp.
And what are some of your good go to like subversive go tos to make the kids read?
Um, this past year I did Fight Club.
Okay. Nice.
I thought it was. I thought Fight Club was a good book for them to like sort of think about the alt right,
Yeah. Okay.
like that whole sort of like homosocial dudes who feel like society, like white dudes who feel like society has done them wrong, banding
Yeah.
together and doing juvenile but ultimately terroristic shit.
Yeah. And you think that'll show them the bigger picture?
I try,
Yeah.
my golden rule is you teach to the high middle. There's always going to be like two kids in the class who are smart and super smart and don't need to be in that class,
Yeah.
and then there's like four kids who are, not going to they're there, they're getting their white class, hunting license, and then there's the rest of the kids. So you make the majority of the kids reach for the information that you're handing out, and that's where you should be teaching.
Okay. Nice. Yeah, I mean honestly, like Nulachek's opening class in Ellenville High School, I took a college writing class, my last semester of high school or whatever, and some of the stuff I can't remember everything, but she did a lot of Hemingway or a lot of stuff that I say it affects me, but I can't remember what it was. Um, but Nulachek's was the first English class I took at Cobleskill, and it was like The Stranger, I think, right off the bat. The Little Prince, Siddhartha, and I can't remember what else. And there was like one, maybe The Bell Jar might have been the fourth
Right.
one, but it was like,
So it was like Cliff Notes for being a cool kid.
yeah, kind of. It was like whoa, it was stuff that really like opened my eyes a lot to the fact that things can be interesting. Yeah.
Well, that's kind of what I get to do in my science fiction class, more so than in my like composition is really sort of a standard. Got to get these kids up to speed for college,
Yeah. Okay.
right? So it's not really about teaching them like introducing literature so much as it is about getting them to like focus their ideas and create paragraphs. But the science fiction class is fantastic. Like I love teaching it. Just giving people ideas that they're not used to. That
Yeah.
there, there could be alternatives to the way a government works. The idea of personhood is something that you hold on to, but doesn't really have any basis in biology. Like these are ideas that freak people out.
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
it's a blast.
That's fucking great.
How are you doing?
I'm pretty good, man. I live a weird life. I quit the restaurant manager job about a year and a half ago and started a dog walking business.
Yeah.
Before this like COVID thing happened, I was living kind of a pretty off the grid, as a dog walking musician.
Right.
Now I'm delivering for a restaurant that a bunch of my friends work at. So I'm like now I'm having more of a regular schedule than I did before this happened.
Yeah.
So now
How's the food delivery? I mean, that's got to be keeping you busy.
it's busy as shit, yeah. And it's like I have regulars, like I have a nurse that and because the decorum has kind of changed a little bit. Like at first, I wasn't necessarily wearing a mask. There's this nurse that I deliver to. She's probably like 55, 60, Joyce, and like first, at the end of my first week of delivering, she was like, "Do you want a mask?" I think she was basically saying you should be wearing a mask, but
Right.
you know. So she gave me a mask, and then I bought a pack of my own, and I started wearing it then. But now, I've been delivering to her for 6 weeks. She gave me a bottle of wine the other day.
Oh, that's cool.
And it's like, part of me is like, is this unnecessary risk that, like, delivering food or whatever? But if a nurse is giving me a bottle of wine, I feel like they know better than I do. So, like, I guess people, like, I
Well, I
don't know.
think she's showing you. I mean, I think she's probably showing you due appreciation.
Yeah, no,
And
absolutely, yeah.
and also, if you're the same guy that's been showing up at her house, once or twice a week for
Yeah.
the past 6 weeks, that's a relationship.
Mm-hmm.
And we should treat each other. We should treat each other like that.
Absolutely, yeah. I was at Hannaford today, and the woman in front of me tried to tip the cashier $10, and he was like, "I'm sorry, I can get fired for taking this," and it's like, that sucks, man. This whole situation sucks. Like,
What we've been doing, because they're not allowed to take cash, but we've been buying gift cards from
oh
people.
shit, huh?
Like store clerks. Like if we feel like if we want a tip, or we're feeling like we're feeling grateful, or something, we'll buy a store credit,
Okay.
and then just leave it on the counter.
Oh shit, so that's acceptable, huh? Interesting.
It is or it isn't. Someone,
Yeah.
I don't give a shit. I mean, like, I understand that they don't want to set up the situation where people are handing their employees cash.
Yeah.
Because that can be disruptive, right? I mean, if one guy is working a register making the same money as another guy working a register, and he just happens into $25,
Yeah.
that's creates a bad feeling to the other people. But
Yeah.
Trying to slide somebody something on the slide seems to work.
There you go. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I think there's a lot of ideas. The whole like economy of scale. I think this is showing that the whole economy of scale is maybe not the best idea. Like you're seeing that with like meat producing companies. Like maybe we shouldn't have deregulated this to the point where there's only 3 fucking companies that control of fucking meat production for 200 for 300 million people.
Well, I mean, I think it's laid bare a lot of what people had already sort of suspected. You know what I mean? Like what people had been like theoretically saying as the problems in this country have suddenly become major features. I mean,
Yeah.
like everybody who's suddenly an essential worker had been treated like an expendable worker, like
Absolutely.
just 4 months ago.
Yeah.
It's like this is a real problem that we have, where we suddenly start calling a group of people heroes. What hero means in America is we should have been compensating you better all along.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and we've been doing that with the military forever. Like, oh, you're a hero, but the VA is still a fucking fiasco
Yeah, right.
of fucking bullshit. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Like we'll take a day off, once a year to
Yeah.
salute you, but really what we should be doing is giving you, adequate protection, health benefits, and salary.
Yes. Yeah.
there's a I think there's a lot, like the university I think is going to be a fundamentally changed idea after this.
Yeah, and in what sense?
Well, because the way that it's been operating for the past 100 years has been incredibly vulnerable to something, like to catastrophe. So whether it's climate or whether it's an economic downturn or whether it's an illness or something like that, suddenly a minor disruption, nobody knows what the fuck to do. So we're like trying, like we're trying to get kids to sign up for classes for next year that we don't know that we're going to be offering.
Okay.
That's and how many people we pack into dorms. I mean, you've lived in dorms. They're
Yeah.
not exactly the most sanitary thing on earth.
Yeah.
I mean, most universities have a tough enough time containing chlamydia,
Yeah.
let alone something that's airborne.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, but like the cost of college in general is not the like it has since we went. Like, what do you pay for your first year of Skill? Like fucking $2,000, like
I have no recollection.
But it was
it's about half of what these kids are paying.
not even half. I mean, I would say like a fucking 15th of I think it is it is like
Well,
exponentially different. And that's not because the dorms are different. I'm not sure why that is, but
a lot of it's administrative costs,
Yeah.
to tell you the honest God truth, and a lot of it also goes into facilities. Like, like the kids complain about the cost of college, but they eat better than I ate until I was 25 years old.
yeah.
And gyms and pools and
Yeah.
like, I mean, it's a cruise ship in comparison.
Well, but it doesn't need to be like as well. Like, would you rather be not in debt for the rest of your life, or have to eat fucking whatever those like weird chicken with broccoli and cheese in the middle of them things were that Cobleskill had,
Right. Do you know how many hash browns I ate at Coldfield? Hash browns and Tabasco sauce was like like I looked forward to that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I don't know. A lot of it has to do with also like guys that are our age. We're like the last generation that didn't necessarily need to go to college to get an entry level job.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
I mean, these kids are getting BAs. They're coming out with tens of thousands of dollars of debt, and they're getting a job that in 1991 you could have gotten with a high school diploma.
Yeah. That's why there's such a and I think in my opinion, there's such a like what is it, adversity between trades and college, like trades and a liberal arts degree, like, oh well, fuck you should have just been a welder, you should have just been a plumber. And it's like, well, that's great, but if high school guidance counselors just start telling everyone to become a welder, then welders aren't going to be able to find work in 5 years or whatever that turnover is. Like it's if there were that many plumbers, then you can't, or landscapers or whatever it is. Like there is a place for the trades, and it's not a bad thing, but it's the same thing. I think you and me were the product of a bunch of lazy guidance counselors that were like, or our generation was, of lazy guidance counselors that were like, oh, just go to college for liberal arts and figure out what you're gonna do. And I think,
but for our parents' generation, having a bachelor's degree was like a major edge.
exactly, yeah,
So like they all thought, oh my God, I can send my kid to college. They'll have a major edge. But the problem is so many of them did that.
yeah,
That like the supply demand curve shifted, and then suddenly the value of a BA has increased in dollars, but has decreased in value.
yeah.
Like they're
Okay.
just not going to come. They're not going to come back.
In
They're
the
certainly not
fall.
going to pay full tuition for
Yeah.
even a hybrid classroom. Like if we're doing it online, they're not paying like full tuition.
Have you been finishing up this semester's classes online?
Yeah, yeah. Since spring break, we've been online.
And what books have you been covering?
Well, fortunately, like we did a book called in my sci-fi class. We did Ursula K. Le Guin's *The Dispossessed*, which if you've never heard of or never read, it's a great book. It's
Okay.
it's about two planets that orbit each other,
Okay.
and one of them is an analog for Earth, and the other one is like an anarchist commune.
Okay.
So like this guy comes from this anarchist commune planet and goes to Earth and basically experiences things like capitalism and
Yeah.
Cold War,
Oh,
and
that's amazing.
misogyny, and
Yeah.
all of the sort of traits of like America, but from this perspective of mutual aid and sort of from each according to ability to each according to need
Yeah.
mentality.
And what's the name? What's the name of the book?
What's that?
What's the name of the book?
The Dispossessed.
I don't know if I can spell dispossess. I wanted to put it in the chat in case anyone wanted to.
Oh, it's Dispossessed.
All right, I did it.
And my freshmen were reading Watchmen.
Oh, fuck yeah. Is there the graphic novel?
Yeah,
Okay, that's great.
love that book. I mean, I've loved that since 1986. I still have my original 12 issues of that.
That's amazing. Uh, Jim DeGrassi just got me into the watch. He gave me Watchmen and The Preacher. I don't know what I want to say. Early 2000s, mid 2005 or some shit like that. So
Yeah.
I was late to the game, but
That's yeah, but I think Preacher gets a little dated. Like that's definitely a 1997 kind of zeitgeist.
yeah, that was a good one. I don't know.
But it's a lot of fun. There's some good stuff in that.
I see that you're doing the 30-day challenge. You know, the music song challenge thing.
Yeah, I have been. Just
What?
sort of just as a way of like keeping people together, and
Yeah.
like it's basically it's been like a camp counselor kind of activity. Like I get up in the morning and I do the challenge and I post it, and then I get like 25, 30 people.
Yeah,
respond.
and I see Ian Fuller. Like Ian Fuller's watching now. Dave Fish is watching now. I see they've been commenting on it. And I think that's like good for everyone to like have something to
Yeah, it's great.
rally around.
It's a lot of fun, and people have been posting stuff that I hadn't heard of, and it's kind of cool to see people who don't even know each other, except for via social media, like connecting. Like I got two friends from totally different chapters of my life, never met each other, but like they find similarities in musical taste, and now they're sharing MP4s.
Oh, nice. That's awesome. Cool.
So it's fun.
What are you listening to now? Because you were never really a metal guy, right? You're like more of a punk rocker.
I was much more punk rock than metal. I mean, I've seen a fair amount of metal shows.
You were from Otisville, so you Orange County Fairgrounds. Your kind of jam.
Oh yeah, I was at Clash of the Titans.
Me too, motherfucker. Woo woo.
And Clash of the Titans, and the year before that wasn't that Guns N' Roses and Metallica?
No, the year before that, like Guns N' Roses opened for Aerosmith. That was my second ever show ever, and I was like 5'3". I was like 5'3". I had I hadn't hit the growth spurt yet, and that was insane. Like you can find the set list for that online right now, and it was killer, man.
Yeah, I saw Guns N' Roses at the fairgrounds, but
Yeah.
I also saw Huey Lewis in the News and Heart, and what was the worst one? I saw Fish. They're the
Fish.
shittiest band ever.
Yeah, where was it? That had to be later though. That had to be because everyone at Cobleskill had like a fish shirt on, and I didn't really understand what it was. There were a lot of things that I didn't understand at that time, and that one I was like I could never get into them. Like
No.
chalkboard disaster or whatever kind of had a hook to it, but I don't know. I never
Yeah,
got it.
Fish never did it for me. Some friends were like, "Dude, you got to go see Fish and Blues Traveler," and I was like, "Whatever." Are there,
Yeah. I mean, Blues Traveler has some good pop
those are
songs.
the days where if they could pour you out of a car and into a concert, you were probably there.
Yeah. I once,
Yeah, Clash of the Titans. I mean, that's still a benchmark greatest concert I've ever seen.
yeah? Wow. All right.
I mean, come on, man. It was
It was really
celebrity
good.
act that
Yeah.
nobody had heard of called Alice in Chains,
Uh huh.
and it was Slayer, Megadeth, and Anthrax.
Yeah. That was fantastic. I rode from Cobleskill to the Poughkeepsie Civic Center in a trunk to see Megadeth once.
I'm talking to Kevin Sharp on this
Hey, Christy.
radio program.
Is that your wife?
This is my wife, Christy Beemer.
Hey, I know Christy. What's up?
How are you, babe?
Great. How are you living?
I'm doing well. I've had a nice, healthy glass of wine this evening while on a chat with some old friends myself. So
There you go.
real good.
I'm on beer 13, so there is.
Beer 13.
Beer 13. You
Yeah.
definitely have lapped me, my friend.
Yeah, no, it's not. It's not a competition. I
I
if-
miss you and the way that you would present the ball before you pitched it. The way
everyone. That's my thing.
you present it to the people you were pitching to, like you were saying, fun goal, and then you pitched it.
Exactly.
It was always fun. Well, I hope you're well.
Yeah, I'm doing pretty good. I have a picture up on the Facebook screen of me, Larry, and Dave Fish from like 2017.
Cute.
And I actually think I'm drunker in the picture than I am right now.
I'll
You
have
were-
to check that out.
Yeah, you were.
A fucking shit show that
was
night.
a fun show.
Yeah, it was something. That Nick Barbarian dude is fucking bananas. I just bought a mask. I ordered a mask from him yesterday. Like, I don't know if the dude that played before us.
Yeah.
He fucking.
Yeah, Nick the Barbarian.
Yeah, he sells butt plugs. He's a tattoo artist that specializes in doing women's asses. And him and Tulsi Gabbard. Tulsi Gabbard, because you live in New Hampshire, so it's one of the early states. He's like good friends with her. Like he has gone to enough of her rallies that they're like fucking some news outlet fucking tried to defame her by showing him like, oh, this is the kind of people, because he has a tattoo on his fucking skull. But
Right.
he's really a solid dude. He's like, oh, look at these degenerates that fucking like fucking Tulsi Gabbard. It's bananas, man.
That's fucked up, man. Nick the Barbarian plays a pretty solid set.
Yeah, and he's he's a solid dude. Like, I don't know.
You know, I find like that to be the case. You know, like the big tattooed, like committed guys tend to be
Yeah.
Sweethearts.
Well, I feel like the more comfortable you are going out on your own ledge, like who the fuck cares what people think? I'm gonna do
Right.
this because I want to do it. The more comfortable you are with yourself, the more at ease you are. The less you are to fuck with other people for shit that's your own insecurities.
I think that's 100% true.
Yeah. Right on. What are you listening to these days?
You know, I feel like my musical tastes are like stuck in the mud. I just I keep listening to some of the same old shit. I listen to a lot of Pennywise, a lot of Rancid.
All right. Rancid. You can't go wrong with Rancid. Like, I don't know.
No, I got to see them. Last year at the end of the summer. It was fantastic.
Was it them in Dropkick?
No, it was
Okay.
Rancid, Pennywise, Suicidal,
Woof.
and these hardcore kids from Baltimore, I think, called Turnstile, who are fantastic.
Okay, nice. That's good. That's cool.
It's all in that documentary.
I don't know. I'm not, like, it seems like my musical tastes have just been sort of like in like they've just stopped evolving. Like I just end up listening to a lot of the same old stuff over and over again.
I've been going back and trying to listen to metal stuff that never hit me the first time. You know, that like
Right.
acclaimed stuff that never got me the first, like "Bonded by Blood" by Exodus. It was
Right.
I never really learned about that the first time, and it's really good. Um,
Yeah.
Death, the band Death, with like
Yeah.
Leprosy and whatever. I never really got into them. I just watched the Chuck Schuldiner documentary last night. That was pretty good.
Yeah.
So I
Well,
mean,
I mean, like
I,
the thing that always kept me out of like really being big into metal was the falsettos. Like I like gruff sounding metal. Like
yeah,
I like Gojira, but I don't like Mastodon.
gotcha. Yeah. Valiant Thor, you get into it all?
No, like I
They're
can't do Ghost either. Really.
yeah. Valiant Thor is like more like Motorheady, like like kind of punk thrash. I don't know. Iron
Right.
Reagan. Iron Reagan.
Like I said, if it came out in the last 15 years, I probably don't know it.
Get into some like try this out. I mean, I think this might be up your alley, but I'm not positive. Iron Reagan or Municipal Waste. Those are two pretty good ones. They're like thrashy, like suicidal tendencies, but like heavier. I don't know.
Shoot me a text with those names. I've heard of Municipal Waste.
Yeah. The Municipal Waste was a band, and then I think Iron Ring is like an offshoot of the band. So it's the same singer, but those are both pretty good.
Gotcha. Well, yeah, that's like the that's little. There's like I guess a little hardcore scene in Baltimore, and so that band Turnstiles from there, and they share a drummer with Trapped Under Ice,
Okay.
and the lead singer of Trapped Under Ice is also in a band called Angel Dust,
All
which is a
right.
lot of fun.
All right.
They're like a super pop, like hardcore band, but with like an acoustic lead. It's strange, but it really works.
Nice. I dig it. All right. I got to piss, and it's been a pleasure talking to you.
It has been an absolute pleasure talking to you, Kevin Sharp.
I'm going to play an Iron Reagan song on the way out called Fuck the Neighbors.
All right, fuck those neighbors.
But I
Talk
love
to
you,
later.
man.
Love you, man. Bye bye.